feel overwhelmed by everything and reach that point where you just can't cope with the stresses of life? You reach a point where you crash and lose your zest for life. This could signal burnout. So we've invited relationship coach Leah C4 to chat to us about some of the ways that can help us to cope with the situation. Leah, burnout, I mean, it's something that has been on a lot of people's minds through this pandemic, but also coming out of it, it's definitely rearing its head again as the world finds its feet. Yeah. What is burnout in your estimation, your understanding of it? What would you describe it as?
So burnout is just a deep exhaustion on a physical, emotional, mental and spiritual level that comes from a prolonged exposure to stress. So it's not an overnight thing. It's everyday stress that just doesn't relent. It just doesn't give up. So constant worrying about money, worrying about the state of your job and is your job safe, being in a relationship with someone who may have an addiction, being a parent to a child who might have learning difficulties or disability, having a health condition of your own that doesn't go away. You know, these are everyday living through stress experiences that don't let up.
Yes.
So we find ways to cope, but the ongoing stress of it just starts to erode everything. And burnout is when we actually now can't do our jobs properly, we can't engage in our relationships properly, and we also actually just don't enjoy life anymore. It just takes away our engagement and our joy.
So it's beyond a state of chronic stress. It's actually sort of the end of the line in some way.
It's total burnout on every body system, every level, because it's not a matter of I just need a good night's sleep and then I'll be fine in the morning. There's a big difference between just being tired and having radical burnout. And because burnout takes so long and depletes you so incrementally, the repair process to recover from burnout can easily take 6 months.
Okay.
Burnout is not something that you can just have a long weekend away and I'm fine, and then I carry on. It's really having to take a long, hard look at your life and having to adjust a lot of things, especially around work, because work is where we see it escalate rapidly. The unrealistic demands of a boss, because of COVID and the amount of unemployment that's happened, the remaining employees have had to take on 2 or 3 extra jobs that they're not coping with. So they're now working later in the evenings and on weekends, and it's compromising their family relationships. So burnout we start really seeing as the effect of work overload, but it definitely spills over into relationships and life.
Okay. Are we seeing more of this burnout because of what we've just been through? I mean, we may be beyond the worst of it, but it's the impact of that period.
There isn't anyone I'm speaking to or engaging with at the moment that is not in a state of burnout. Every single human being I'm engaging with from the pandemic, whether you're employed or unemployed, whether you're single in a relationship, whether you're a parent, not a parent, it doesn't matter where you are in life, everybody has got burnout. Because even being unemployed is more burnout because you're stressing more about not having money and where am I going to stay and can I pay the bills, and
you just never have that escape. At work, at least you go home at whatever, even if it's midnight, you get to break from it.
So yes, everybody's experiencing burnout, and like a very big indicator of burnout is called depersonalization or disassociation, where you emotionally detach yourself from what is going on around you because you don't find meaning in any of it. So you're kind of going through the motions, but you just don't feel in it. It's almost like you're observing your life from the outside, looking in. So for men experience burnout as depersonalization. They just emotionally check out from everything. That includes their relationships, it includes their parenting, it includes everything in their life. And women, and I know I'm being very general here, but women are mostly experience burnout as emotional exhaustion. They have just got nothing left to give, and that is from having no resilience anymore. I can't deal with all the demands on me, and I've just emotionally am spent. I've got nothing left to give.
It's interesting you use that word resilience because from what you're talking about, it's as if we're breaking down that resilience, but just never getting the time to rework it and build it up again.
No, absolutely. There is no time off, and because this burnout is every day and it's daily stresses, we can't just eliminate them. We are in a relationship, we are raising children, we do have a job to do, but what we can start doing is managing the expectations and the boundaries around those things. And we do tend to take on a lot of self-imposed duty and obligation moments. Nobody a lot of the time is asking this of you. You feel you have to do it. And that is another sign of burnout, is that you're doing more and more and more, but you don't feel that you're getting anywhere. You don't see any accomplishment, like you don't feel you're getting the result result you want.
Yes.
And then you think, oh, it's me, I'm the problem, so I need to do more. And maybe my work isn't perfect enough. Or maybe I need to, not stop. So you keep working harder, doing more, which is depleting your energy, but you feel like you're not getting any result.
Okay. Now, in terms of that side of things, what is the impact, well, beyond that side of things, in fact, what is the impact on your physical body if you're experiencing this constant stress, which builds on itself?
So burnout definitely has a radical impact on your immune system. So burnout, constant stress, we know depletes your immune system, but it's not just your immunity, it's just the physical health of your body. You get a lot of headaches, you get stomach pain, your muscles are always sore, you can have insomnia, which is very, very detrimental to your health. You can definitely have a change in appetite, like a lot of people in burnout don't eat properly.
All right.
And you're not exercising because you're so stressed of having to do everything else, you don't make time for yourself. And we've seen a lot of this, especially in COVID, we've seen a lot of people put on weight.
Yes.
Because stress makes you eat. You're exhausted from burnout. You can't go and make meals. You just want to quickly grab a chocolate bar or a quick snack. So it's these over-processed, ready-made meals, which makes you think you're eating at least.
Yeah.
But you're not eating enough to supplement your body properly, to have a functioning, powerful immune system, and the stress level just keeps eroding that. So physically, what burnout actually is an overdrive of our stress response. So when we see a perceived threat, and I say it's perceived because very often the threat we think is there is not real at all.
Absolutely, yeah.
If you wake up in the middle of the night and you see a shadow in the corner and you get a fright, and then you realize, oh, it's just my curtain. The problem is the moment you got the fright, your stress response, that fight, flight, freeze response just activated.
Yes.
And what happens with that is your adrenaline goes up, your cortisol goes up, your body is in hypervigilance. And it takes a while to lower that. Now, that was just a shadow in the corner of your room. What we're doing every single day, throughout the whole day, is that stress response is constantly activating. Our boss phones us and says we need to have a conversation. Our spouse sends us a message and says, oh, there's not enough money to pay the rent this month. Our child's been in trouble at school. You name it. There's a countless amount of stuff in a day that triggers that fight, flight, freeze response. The problem with that is that response is supposed to deactivate after a few minutes and once the danger has passed, and we're supposed to regulate, but it doesn't. So a stress response, we get stuck in that stress response, which is what burnout actually is. Our adrenals are in overdrive and we can't switch off our stress response, and we're like a hamster on that stress response wheel,
going.
And then we don't stop to regulate. That's where the resilience erodes. And then another thing comes and another thing comes, and I think we're all feeling it, like COVID has just ended. Well, not ended, but it's calming. And now it's Russia and Ukraine. Now there's this huge world thing. So just as we come off, another big thing hits us. So it's these waves of things. So you've got to learn how physically to deactivate your stress response, because people think that burnout is a mental thing. It's not. You can't mentally talk yourself out of burnout. Go, well, Michael, you must just relax.
Or stop that stress reaction, because it's a need. It's a reaction. It's
a physical reaction. So there's a few ways, but I think the easiest way for everybody to know about regulating your stress response is deep breathing. And a powerful deep breathing exercise is the count in for 4, hold your breath for 7, exhale for 8.
All right.
It's a deep belly breathing which activates your vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is what switches your stress response off. And it's why everybody says when you're in a state of stress, just take a deep breath. But because it really works. So this is something you can do throughout the day, of regularly breathing very deeply. And physical stuff is also what just alleviates that adrenal cortisol response. So, doing jumping jacks on the spot, or running on the spot, or running up and down stairs, or dancing loudly to music. And, physical stuff also switches off that stress response. So something you should incorporate every day.
Absolutely. And there's some lovely apps and things, breathing apps, which you can, it's wonderful meditation in the morning. I do it quite a lot, which is really, really, it just settles you after, hopefully you've had a good night's sleep. You can settle yourself, calm yourself, and then enter the day feeling just on a level that's not panicky to get going. But Nalia, we don't have much time left, but I do want to just check in on, not everyone has 6 months to go away and recoup. So apart from the breathing and the exercise, what would you encourage people to do or to incorporate into their lives that will just help them to stay on top of things, or at least make a move to getting on top of things?
I think a good quality sleep is absolutely critical. And we all know the rules, switch off your tech an hour before you want to go to sleep.
Yes.
Go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time every morning. If your sleep is powerful enough, your body can regenerate hugely in sleep. So sleep is really important. Eating well is critically important, especially for your immune system. And physical movement for me is one of the key things, and there's no excuse. Anyone, anywhere can do something physical for 15 minutes a day, whatever that is for you.
Walk around the block,
Absolutely.
jump up and dance.
Absolutely. And that doesn't cost money to do something physical to switch off. So doing those things are really important, as well as putting boundaries. Boundaries, how much does your boss expect of you? Is it realistic? Do you need to manage the workload that's being put on you? So having a conversation with your boss and managing work, and asking your spouse, your friends, your family for support when you need it. People think asking for support is a sign of weakness. It's not. It's you're in trouble. Your loved ones want to be there for you, but they just don't know.
Yeah.
So you've got to ask for support when you're not okay.
And so many people are going through these sort of things without saying a word, but then
Yeah.
when they connect, they're like, oh, we're dealing with the same problem, so let's work together.
Exactly.
Yeah. Leah, thank you so much. I think some great points to get people out of the rut and just feeling a little bit more like there's light at the end of the tunnel if they are feeling some element of burnout. So thanks a lot.